Good afternoon, everybody. What is up? I am out here at the bee yard. It is Sunday afternoon. It is a gorgeous day, pretty similar to the day that I was out here. Was it Wednesday? I think it was. Anyway, so this morning I was looking at the weather, seeing how clear it was going to be, how nice it was going to be, and I thought, let's get out there and do some inspections. It is a warm day, though. I've already been out here doing a little bit of work with my dad earlier, and so got the sweat going on. But I thought, let's go in and inspect the hive. We're not looking for anything in particular today. We're just kind of going in to see what we see, and I thought that might be fun for y'all to come along and join me on. So as you can see, I do have my jacket on today. We've had a couple of bees get a little bit too curious, and so I thought, you know what, let's go ahead and be prepared. So I do have this on, and as soon as I flip the camera around to look at the hive, I'm going to go ahead and put my veil on, and then we will get started. I have pre-smoked these hives, so we're going to go ahead and straight on in. Just as a heads up, as I get you flipped around, this is one of the Nucs. If you will remember from previous videos, we had a hive in this spot that was stacked with 3 deeps. When I did our split, that down into 3 separate nooks. One of the nooks, we actually, in my last video, you can see that on my YouTube page now, but in that one we went through, that had the queen cells in it, so we went through and checked. Look at that. Way too late in the year for it. There's nothing they could do with that space. So we are going to let them live large just like this. Now I do see some hive beetles rolling around, and I have some swisher sheets that we're going to cut down and put in here as well to aid those beetle traps in dang beetles and removing them from the hive altogether. By removing them, I mean, killing them, because they don't provide any good service, so we want them to die. We are quite satisfied with what we see. We just want to see more of it, so we're going to go in. Let's check out these beetle traps, huh? They've been in here for a couple of days. Let's see how they look at this point. Hey, girl. We actually have beetles running around on them. But got a couple of them in there as well. So, yeah, they are working. We want them to work more and faster, or more and better, but we're taking what we can get right now. And that fault may be mine, because I just went to set that beetle trap down and a bunch of beetles fell off under the rim, and so I'm thinking I may just not have had that flush, which would make that my fault. So we're going to make sure that we put that in there correctly when we put this hive back together. So now we just want to see what's going on up here. That's it. Again, we're not looking for anything in particular, but you do always want to be aware of what your colonies are up to. And so, especially this time of year, while the weather still continues to permit, we want to take advantage of this weather and get in here and get a good look. This is an insulating frame of honey. Now, yes, they will eat this honey eventually. You can see on both sides that it is. Ah, okay, good. We reconnected. Anyway, you could see there over there when I had it up that it was loaded with honey, capped. They put that on the outside of the supers in order to insulate the interior frames in the brood chamber anyway. Generally, the interior frames is what houses your brood, and so they want to protect that from the elements, the cold specifically, as best they can, and they use the honey frame as a way to do that. Now up here, we're going to be in what's known as the food chamber, which means that they are not necessarily insulating the hive, because I am going to stand corrected, because looky there, we have beautiful, beautiful brood. So she has moved up, she is in there, she is not laying a ton, or at least not on that one, because on the next one there's less honey and more brood. Sorry girl, don't sting me. Alright, I'm gonna put my veil back on. Yeah, on this next one we got a nice little brood pattern going on, so we're going to take a look at that. Everything that we're seeing in here is exactly what we would hope to see this time of year when we open up the bees. It's funny, they keep landing on me, but not aggressively. They're taking off, and I happen to be getting in the way. Oh, sorry, girl. Oh, sorry about that, y'all. Yeah. All right. This one, you can see capped brood down at the base, which would be kind of what I would expect in a situation like this, because you can see there in the center, or maybe you should be able to see there in the center, that there's a lot of larvae. So that means that she has come back around and laid in there, and the capped ones is from her previous visit to this frame, and so now she's just keeping them freshly laid. On the other side, and these are going to ultimately be what we called our winter bees, the ones that are in there now. They'll come along. Oh, don't! It happened. Alright, so I'm going to show you this real quick again, but I'm going to get rid of it as quickly as I can because it is pulsing on in there. Oh, here, I'll do it on camera. When you see the stinger, scrape the stinger out. Boy, that hurts. And do it quickly because it will continue to pump venom into you. So if you hang on like I just did, you'll continue to get the venom, which is going to continue, of course, to hurt. So scrape it out as quickly as you can. Do not squeeze it out. I say this every single time I talk about stings. Do not squeeze it out, because that just, or don't pinch it out, because that just actually squeezes the venom into you, which is, of course, what you're trying to avoid. So scrape it out instead. Fingernail, hive tool, pocket knife. Frankly, if you are not a beekeeper, or you are not with a beekeeper, stay out of the hive. That'll right in the fingertip. Blast. I know, if Angie were watching, she'd tell me if I had gloves on, I wouldn't be getting stung. And that is absolutely true. But we all know how much I hate wearing those gloves. So, honestly, I think I'd rather get stung. Yeah. more brood. I'm coming around to the camera so that you can see it. More brood. And see if you can't notice slight physical differences in the bees. Oh, I see a drone. That's weird. But in the female worker bee, see if you can't notice physical differences. That's indication of half sisters. We've talked about that before. The queen mates with multiple drone when she mates. Hold on. Boy, they are coming out. And so each hive is comprised of, and that frame that's in there is just another one of the insulation frames, so we're going to leave that in. But now that I'm being stung, we're going to put this one back together and move on over to the next hive. We're not going to do all of them. I just wanted to see these two specifically, because these two are from the split, and they each were introduced with a new queen. One that we had ordered, so not from our bee yard. Don't do it, girls. Don't. Thank you for listening. So, we are very satisfied with what we see here. And frankly, you can stand at the entrance of the hive and watch this one work. And you don't even have to go in. You know that it's a very strong hive just by the number of bees that you see coming and going. However, I like to see it myself. So, we came in. And I wanted to show it to you. Alright, girls, go on. Beautiful. Okay. Next one. Are we ready? Let's see how we're going to set y'all up. We'll do that. We'll put you right in my... Oh, dang it. Y'all didn't remind me. I needed to put the beetle traps and Swiffer sheet back in here. So, let's get stung again. Oh, whoa! 10 of them just jumped off and came at me. Trying to close up shop if y'all will work with me here. There we go. All right. We cut a Swiffer sheet, so let's use a Swiffer sheet. They, hey TC, they don't explode during mating. They are removed during mating. Well, they're not removed like, you know, he voluntarily gives them up. They're just torn out. And so much like the stinger that the female has, when she stings you and it stays in there and the venom sac continues to pump, well, the male reproductive organ also continues to pump. Not really an odd question. It's actually it's a pretty good question. You know me, so it's an uncomfortable one. But yeah, that's how that happens. Now, they may have referred to it as exploding, and based on what they were saying, that might not have been entirely inaccurate, but yeah, it gets removed. Sorry about all the clanking, y'all. There we go. Trying to get you in a position that allows you to see and allows me to work. Let's go see if we can see the same thing or something similar here, and let's see if we can do it without me getting stung. What do y'all think the chances are? Oops. That's horrific. Yes. However, that is horrific from our standards. From nature's point of view, the single greatest importance on the male bee, the drone. Oh shoot. Damn. Yeah. Shit. Hold on. All right, so for those of you that didn't see it, the bees propolized the top of the beetle trap to the inner cover, and so when I removed it, when I removed the inner cover, the beetle trap was stuck to the inner cover, and so I just accidentally, of course, but I just poured a bunch of oil down into the hive, which will result in the death of a bunch of bees. So that's frustrating. To say the least. All right, let's get back to it. Okay, so that's horrific. 50-50, 70-30. TC, I don't know. I'm sorry, I lost my train of thought. I don't know what the references are to. Don't sting me at the wedding ring. No. Maybe like 20 or 30. As far as bees that I just killed with the oil, yeah, it'd be like 10 or 15, 20, 30, something of that nature. So, I mean, in the grand scheme of things, to the bees, not a horrible loss, but to the beekeeper, it just really sucks, you know? I've been stung twice. I got stung earlier in this video. You'll see that I got stung on the previous hive. But right now, no. This hive is actually being really calm, which is awesome. Okay. So you'll see in here some bees that are really kind of light blonde furry. Those are freshly hatched bees. They immediately take on the responsibility of cleaning and nursing, which is pretty awesome. I mean, they hatch and start working. How many of you mamas have brought home a newborn and put them to work immediately? Obviously, we work differently. We're different than the bees. Bees only have about a 6-week lifespan. Once they've hatched, they spend about 3 weeks, 21 days, in their development phase before they, what we call hatch. Technically, they hatch from egg into larva, but generally speaking, when we talk about hatching, we talk about, oh, I got you, TC. When we talk about hatching, we talk about them coming out of the cell altogether. But again, a lot of the light blonde bees, and you can see this is probably one of the frames that they just hatched from. You may also see some of the comb has been, right there, that's, for instance, some of the comb has been cut out on both sides. I believe we have talked about it before, but we volunteer our hives in certain research projects that Kentucky-based honeybee researchers are doing. University of Kentucky is one. Stop. I'm putting y'all back together. University of Kentucky is one. Tammy, our state apiarist, is actually conducting studies of her own as well. And we have her inspect our hives every year as we come out of winter. She usually comes around February or March to inspect our hives. If you are a beekeeper and you happen to get to watch this video because your life is just that wonderful to you, first, welcome to the video. Second, if you are in Kentucky, I suggest you reach out to Tammy. If you are in a different state, I suggest you learn, if you're not doing it already, I suggest you learn who your state apiarist is and you get your bees inspected. The peace of mind, of course, is pretty awesome. So there's that. But also, being able to tell your customers that you are disease and virus free, chemical free, and all that other kind of stuff, that all gets tested. That's a pretty strong position when you're marketing your product. So we like to have Tammy come out and inspect for us. But anyway, she's also conducting research, and so they will come out periodically, you know, when they need to, and they will take samples. And so that's what that cutout in the wax was from. The smaller cutout on the other side, honestly, was probably a queen cell that we cut out at some point. Because usually when we do cutouts for the research, I say we. Well, I know I helped. So yeah, when we do cutouts for the research, that's usually the larger piece on the, like you saw on the other side. All right, we're going to come back around here to look at my gorgeous mug. Oop, wrong direction again. There we are. All right, and we're going to step over here, and I'm going to put the beehives in the background. Hopefully I can stand over here for a little bit and the bees will leave me alone. Anyway, so just a quick review of what we just saw in the hives. We are really thrilled to see, I am really thrilled to see that they are so populous. Those two queens are really doing a great job laying those eggs, keeping those patterns really strong, very tight. And so we've obviously just recently also had a hatch. So you saw those bees. We're really excited about that. Each of the beehives has a really good, strong weight to them, which means that we have a lot of honey stored in there. You saw the frames that I pulled out that had just the honey in it. That's food that'll go into winter with the bees. And so that's how they're going to maintain themselves and, you know, create that. They'll be able to use that sugar from the honey to be able to generate the energy necessary, the heat necessary to keep the larva and the colony itself overall warm. So we're very excited to see that. You can't see it right now, but way over in the corner of our bee yard, we actually have a pollen. Basically, it's a specialized bucket, but it's a dispenser for pollen. And the bees all day for the last week or so have been all over that. So they're taking in the pollen, they're taking in the nectar, they're taking the syrup that we provide, and they're using all of that to rear their new brood. So we're really excited to see that. That being said, I got to get out of this bee suit. The bees are still flying around my head. Actually, I'm not hearing anybody right now, so I'm going to take this off. You watch. I'm going to get stung just as soon as it comes off. But I got to get out of this thing. And you can see it's, yep, there she is. Dang it. It's vented, all that kind of stuff. But Bubba, it is hot. So I don't like being in it any longer than absolutely necessary. But at this point, we're done. And I'm going to go ahead and start packing up and heading back to the house, because I have to pretend like I'm excited to mow the grass. I'm not. I'm never excited to mow the grass. Anyway, thank you guys for hanging out with me. It's been a delight. I hope that you enjoyed what you saw at the beehives. Again, you can reach out to me through Facebook, or you can make comments on this video, or when I have it on my YouTube page, you can make your comments there. If you have some content that you'd like to see, or if you have any questions whatsoever, please feel free to post those, send them to me, and I'd be more than happy to address them. Until then, y'all have yourselves a wonderful day. Don't forget, go to my YouTube page, Buzz and Blossoms Bee Farm on YouTube. Subscribe to my channel, hit that little bell, and that will allow you to get notifications when I do post new content. If you're on YouTube and you're not following me on Facebook, well, then this video, when you see it, that's going to be new content for you. But anyway, so follow me there. You can also find me on TikTok. I don't know what my name is on TikTok though, so you know, but you can find me there. I usually post videos on Facebook, and you can find it that way. Y'all have a wonderful day. We'll talk soon.